Welcome to Elkhart Lake. If you are a first-timer with team in training, get ready. You are about to have the experience of a lifetime. And for all of you alum, thank you so much for continuing to reach deep within yourselves for such a worthy cause with a crucial mission. And we can't forget all of our supporters that will be lining the course tomorrow, cheering us all across the finish line. Thank you for being here. My name is Vicky Andritsch. It is an honor and a privilege to be standing here tonight with Dia, TNT friend, supporter, coach, but most importantly, mother to Lauren and Jordan. Thank you so much to my husband Todd and our 5 great kids, Jack, Grace, Audrey, Luke, and Ava, for joining me here this weekend to cheer me on through my first triathlon. Together, these kids have shown their dad and I they have the strength and courage of a small army. We have been a family tightly connected from the beginning of time, and I now understand why. My son Luke was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia on May 17, 2007. I believe it to be true when parents say they will never forget the day their child was diagnosed with cancer. The memory will be etched in my mind forever. For me, it was Mother's Day weekend, 2007. Luke was 3 years old when he was diagnosed. He falls 4th in the lineup of 5 kids. He looks like a football player and has the heart of a teddy bear. He loves his superheroes, his brother and his sisters, his dog Murphy, but most of all, he has a love and deep understanding of what living life on this earth is really all about. We take comfort in knowing this is all part of God's plan for our son. We often describe Luke as a gentle old soul in a little boy's body.
My name is Dia Walls. I am so thrilled to have the opportunity to share some of my family's journey over the past 2.5 years, and to be able to stand up here next to one of the most amazing moms I've ever met. And today is her birthday. So I'm here today as a coach for Team Indiana, a mother of a child battling cancer, and a proud daughter of Grampy, who at 59 years old is completing his first TNT event and first try ever. He's going to make me cry. I have 2 wonderful daughters. My 6-year-old baby girl, Lauren, is a lively, funny, happy, resilient, loving, and strong little girl. And my sweet Jordan, she is so kind, compassionate, loving, smart, and wise beyond her years. If it wasn't for both of them walking alongside me every day, I would be completely lost. I thank God every day for blessing me with the honor of being their mom. And I also wanted to thank my mom for helping with my girls so that my dad and I can go out and train for the last 6 months. On January 8th, 2008, just 7 months after Luke started his journey, Lauren was also diagnosed with ALL. It was the worst day of my life. I'll never forget having the doctors tell us that she had CANCER. She actually spelled it to me. My heart broke and my mind raced to all the terrible things that would and could happen to my baby girl. So what do you do when you're given such a devastating blow? I think you stand up and you embrace it. Although we didn't know Luke's family prior to diagnosis and really had no idea what leukemia was, both of our families have stood up and embraced the challenges that God presented us. Luke and Lauren's journeys have been the same, yet also very different. Our families have been so incredibly blessed with the ability to get through the struggles and to see the incredible gifts and blessings that have come to us because of Luke and Lauren's courageousness. The friendships, experiences, and life lessons that we've come to know because of this take our breath away. After the race tomorrow, our family members combined will have completed 19 races and raised over $120,000 in 2 years. So we understand how you might be feeling now, and tonight you may find yourself wide awake, mind racing with pre-race jitters. Did I train enough? What have I forgotten? What if I oversleep? You may keep running the course route through your mind over and over all night not to worry, you won't be alone, and you can take comfort in knowing that the really important night's sleep was last night. So we thought we would give you a little helpful advice to ease your mind.
When you started your training and signed your name along that dotted line, you may have been a bit surprised at your group trainings and all that was in store for your day. The mileage, the time commitment, maybe you weren't prepared for a long ride that day, let alone a brick. That may not have been a part of your plan, but you rose to the occasion just the same. I can relate. There we sat at a long conference table. It felt like it went on for miles. The room felt cold. I was short of breath. I was physically sick to my stomach. Doctors on one side of the table, Todd and I on the other. The conversation went something like this. It was short and to the point, or maybe there was more, but we simply heard what we needed to hear. We now know what is wrong with your son. He has cancer. He has leukemia. His treatment protocol calls for chemotherapy for 3.5 years. There are no options. There are no choices. But this wasn't part of our plan for our sweet little boy who just days before was running, playing, and laughing.
During your training, you may have felt like you couldn't get enough to eat, that you were a bottomless pit, shocked at how much you could consume after a long, hard workout. You might also be stressed about the fuel for race day and how to get the right cocktail. How many booze should I take? Do I have enough water? Should I have more Gatorade? Do I have too much of one and not enough of the other? Lauren and Luke can relate. During the first 29 days of their intensive treatment, they had high doses of steroids that caused their appetites to increase drastically. They would literally eat for 24 hours straight. My little 4-year-old girl could put down stacks of pancakes, eggs, pounds of bacon, sausage at midnight, and only to wake up and need 15 pizza rolls just 2 hours later. Their faces became unrecognizable, their bellies so tight and large that they no longer could wear regular clothes. Lauren's wardrobe for many days consisted of underwear and her sister's robe, which she couldn't close. The cocktails of chemos that our babies endured would blow your mind. Spinal taps, monthly infusions, steroids, daily chemo pills, sometimes up to 12 pills a day. This chemo concoction caused severe, drastic mood swings, constant vomiting, and the inability to move for hours and hours. It's terribly frightening to have to sit by and watch your child suffer through the medicine that's slowly killing every cell in their body, knowing that without it, the cancer would rear its deadly head and strike at any moment.
During your training and your initial open water swims, you may recall those first few times of zipping into your skin-tight, no room to breathe, no quick escape, dear God, please don't let this zipper get stuck, wetsuit. And maybe, for the first time, seriously question your ability to really pull this thing off. Luke can relate. At the young age of 3, Luke endured nearly 2 hours of unrelenting jackhammering in an MRI tube prior to his diagnosis. He was unsedated the entire time. His pain was indescribable, his arms wrapped tightly around his body, his eyes wide with fear. Me, his mom, only able to slip my hand inside the tube to assure him I was still there and he was not alone. Quite possibly the longest 2 hours of my life, watching, although I didn't know it at the time, Luke began to fight for his life. At that very moment, Luke began to grow up rapidly, right before our eyes.
During your race tomorrow, you might be worried about how your hair looks. Lauren and Luke can relate. Within weeks of beginning treatment, Lauren would sit in her hospital bed with a pink puke bucket in front of her with the clumps of hair that she'd been pulling out of her head. Luke has lost his hair and shaved his head 10 times. We've endured stares and comments in stores and school, and after a 1.5 years of no hair, Lauren's hair had finally grown in, brown, bouncy, and beautiful, only to start falling out again after her 6th birthday. We shaved her head again for the 3rd time 2 weeks later. With this last head shave, we saw our outgoing, happy little girl self-consciously retreat into her hat.